Hey guys, welcome back to Healthy Kitchen. How are you? Okay, today we're going to be making a quinoa and beef. I want to call it fried rice, but it's fried quinoa and beef. Excellent. Okay, you're going to need some leftover quinoa, okay? Basically, I had some here left in the fridge. I had for maybe a day. I think it was a day or two. And make sure it's cold, all right? And what we're going to go over here is the rest of the following ingredients. So I had some beef. What I did with the beef here is I marinated it with a little bit of soy sauce, a little tiny bit of sesame oil, and sliced garlic. Okay, we're going to need 2 eggs just to basically make an omelet for garnish at the end, and dice up some carrots. Okay, now this is not traditional, but I added some basil in there, chiffonade of basil, and some green beans, and some green onions as well. Okay, now with the green onions here, I did 2 different styles. I'll show you the other one in a minute. And I also diced up some celery and some red peppers. Okay, now the other style of green onions that I did do was for garnishing in the end. And as you can see, it's just a long bias cut. What I did here with the ginger and the Scotch bonnet pepper was just dice them small and I added them together. Now I lined up everything in order right before I began to cook, and then I added in my beef. Make sure your pan is really hot, okay? Or this will happen. This was my mistake. The beef began to boil, and that should never happen when you're searing things, okay? Basically, its own juices began coming out, and then it just began to boil. Now, what I had here was when it rendered down most of the fat and the liquid evaporated, I had a little bit of extra oil here, as you can see in the pan, that I did drain out before I added in the rest of my ingredients. But as you can see, the beef was nicely seared here. Beautiful caramelization, built flavors. And then I added in my celery, my Scotch bonnet pepper, and my ginger. Just sauteing everything, building flavors like I always say. And then we add in our carrots. Now guys, when I make fried rice or fried whatever, I don't like to overcook the vegetables, just to have that nice al dente bite in there. Now what I added here was a little bit of Chinese 5-spice, salt, pepper, kosher salt and pepper, and my green beans. Now I like to finish it off with my red peppers, just to keep that nice texture, like I said, keeping it al dente, not overcooking everything, right? So right before I add in my quinoa, that's what I did. All right, and add in our basil as well as our green onion. And remember, the remainder of the green onions that we had there was for garnishing. I gave it a couple tablespoons of soy sauce in there, not too much, remembering that we did have soy sauce in the marinade and I did add the salt, so we don't over season the dish here and make it too salty, okay? Now look how beautiful and fluffy that was. Just amazing flavor. Like I said earlier, this recipe was adapted from a friend of mine's that I seen that she made online, and I figured that, you know what, it looks good and I want to give it a try. Now, what I did there was I made the omelet and just a quick plating presentation. Very simple. Quinoa in the middle, a little bit of green onions as garnish, and our sliced up omelet. Okay guys, Healthy Kitchen, thank you for joining us. Ciao. Hit us up on Instagram and like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget, keep it smart, keep it simple, and ciao, ciao, ciao.